Hello viewers, I am Barrister Sunday Adaji. I'm a legal officer with Lawyers Alert. Lawyers Alert is a human rights organization that promotes human rights through advocacy and through provision of free legal services to vulnerable groups and to victims of human rights violation. I welcome you to this live streaming series that we do every Thursday of the week. Last week we took on the topic, the police and your rights at the point of arrest. But this week we are taking on the topic, traffic, you and the law. As we progress with this discussion, you are free to send in your questions. We will respond to all your questions. If we cannot answer all your questions in the course of this program, I assure you that at the end of this program, we will attend to all your questions. Now, in this series, we are going to discuss the following topics: your right as a road user, your obligation as a road user, the requirements for driving a vehicle on our roads. We will also talk about road traffic offenses. We will also discuss safety tips for pedestrians. Then we will also discuss the law enforcement agencies in charge of road traffic matters. So now, without missing words, let's proceed now. Now, your right as a road user, as a motorist and as a pedestrian, you have right to ply every road, every street, and every highway. Roads and highways are accessible to every person. They are constructed by the government for the benefit of all and sundry. Now, your obligation as a road user. Now, the principle is this. The principle of law is this: for every right that you enjoy, you also have obligations attached to it. Now, these obligations are what we are going to discuss now. First and foremost, it is your obligation as a road user to observe road signs. This is very important in the sense that the road signs are meant to give you instruction on what to do and what not to do. For instance, we have the traffic light, which you have to observe as a road user, whether you are a motorist or a pedestrian. 2, the second obligation is that you must keep right as a motorist. You must always keep right, the right. That is to say, you don't have to drive by the left lane. You must maintain your right all the time. Then the third duty is that you should keep left as a pedestrian. As a pedestrian, where there are no footpaths or pavement, and you are walking by the side of the road, you must make sure that you walk by the left lane, facing oncoming vehicles. Then number 4, as a motorist, your vehicle must be roadworthy. Your vehicle must be roadworthy. In fact, the law provides that you must have a roadworthy certificate, which is obtainable from the Vehicle Inspection Officer, the VIO. Without this vehicle roadworthiness certificate, you are not entitled to drive on our road. Now, the 5th obligation as a road user is that you have you owe every other road user a duty of care. This duty of care is not just a duty to drive carefully, but a duty to take care not to cause harm to every other road user. Just as you owe a duty of care to other road users also owe you a duty of care, not just to drive carefully, but to take care not to cause harm to you. So these are the obligations that is required of you as a road user. Now we'll now go to the other topic, requirements for driving a vehicle. Requirements for driving a vehicle. The first requirement is that you must have your vehicle registered. And this registration is done with the VIO, the Vehicle Inspection Officer. After completing the registration, you will be given plate number which you will attach to your car. The second requirement for driving a vehicle is that you must be 18 years and above. If you are less than 18 years of age, the law does not permit you to drive vehicle on the road. The third requirement for driving a vehicle is that your vehicle must be insured. Your vehicle must be insured with insurance companies, with an insurance company. The type of insurance you are expected to do is the minimum of third-party insurance. And if you wish, you can also go for the one we call comprehensive insurance. But the one that is mandated by the law is the third-party insurance. Then the fourth requirement for driving a vehicle on the road is that you must possess driver's license. The driver's license entitles you to drive on every road, every street in our country, Nigeria. And this driver's license is obtainable from the Federal Road Safety Commission. Now, the fifth requirement is that as a motorist, you must have a certificate of roadworthiness. This certificate is obtainable from the Vehicle Inspection Officer. And then the sixth requirement has to do with motorists who are learning to drive. The law makes it mandatory that a learner, a beginner who is not yet perfect with driving, must obtain learner's permit from the Vehicle Inspection Officer. In addition to the learner's permit, the motorist is also expected to, put at the back and front of his vehicle the word L, showing that it's a learner of the vehicle. It's a learner of the vehicle and is learning to drive. And with that signs of L attached to the vehicle, other road users will easily know that this is a learner who is learning to drive, and they must also take cautions when they drive past you. So now these are the requirements for driving a vehicle on our road. Then the next topic I want to take has to do with road traffic offenses. There are a lot of things we do while driving which the law prohibits and stipulates punishment for offenders. These practices we do which the law prohibits, we are going to look at some of them right away. Number one, making and receiving calls while driving. The law makes it a criminal offense. A criminal offense to make call or to receive call while you are driving. If the law enforcement agencies, catches any person making call or receiving call while driving, the person may be prosecuted, or he may be asked to pay a fine to the coffers of the government. The second road traffic offense we are looking at is driving without using a seat belt. This is very very common among commercial vehicle users. Sometimes the driver wouldn't bother to put on the seat belt. So also is the person on the front seat sitting closer to the driver. But the law makes it mandatory that when driving, you must put on the seat belt. You must put on the seat belt. Then the third road traffic offense we are looking at is driving without a valid driver's license. Driving without a valid driver's license. The law makes it mandatory that every motorist must have a valid driver's license. If you are caught driving without a valid driver's license, you may be charged for criminal offense. Then the fourth road traffic offense we are looking at is driving a vehicle that is not registered. When you drive a vehicle that is not registered, it is a criminal offense. And when you are caught, you may be prosecuted, or you may be charged, you may be asked to pay fine. Now the fifth topic we are taking, the fifth road traffic offense is driving with expired driver's license. The law prohibits every motorist from driving with expired driver's license. Before your license expires, you are expected to renew. You are expected to apply to the FRSC to have your license renewed. And until it is renewed, you are not expected to drive. Then the sixth topic we are taking is driving without a valid insurance certificate. Your insurance certificate must be up to date. It must not be expired one. Once it's about to expire, you will have to get back to your insurance company to have your vehicle insured again. Then the seventh road traffic offense we commit also is driving while drunk or driving under the influence of drugs. One of the safety tips that Federal Road Safety Commission always recommend is that when you are drunk, don't drive. When you are under the influence of drug, don't drive. The implication can be very, very, very grave. For instance, if you drive while you are drunk, you may not be sober enough to control yourself and the vehicle. And the fact that you owe a duty of care to other motorists, to other pedestrians, to take care not to cause harm to every other road user, makes it mandatory that when you are drunk, you shouldn't drive. And when you are under the influence of drug, you must not drive. So then we now proceed to the 8th traffic road offenses that are always committed, which is reckless or dangerous driving. Reckless or dangerous driving. Now, when you are driving on a highway or even on a road, on a less busy road, the fact is that you must drive at a normal speed. The importance of driving at a normal speed cannot be overemphasized. If you are driving at a normal speed and you lose control, it is easy to regain control of the vehicle. But when you are driving, you are overspeeding, you are driving recklessly and dangerously. It can be very, very dangerous, not only to your life, but to the life of other road users. For this reason, you must always drive with care. You must always drive with care. Then the 10th road offense we are talking about now is failure to observe traffic regulations. Failure to observe traffic regulations. This failure to observe traffic regulation is very common in big cities like Abuja, Port Harcourt, Lagos. In these cities, there are major roads where we have the zebra crossings. These zebra crossings are meant for pedestrians, and as a result of that, motorists are expected to halt whenever people are crossing the zebra crossing. But the fact is that most motorists, it happens in Abuja here, especially in Banex, it is very common that when motorists are crossing that area, they're crossing the zebra crossing. When the pedestrians are crossing, the motorists will not slow down. They will drive as if they want to go and hit them. This can be very, very dangerous, because if you lose control and you hit anyone, then you may be charged for manslaughter, you may be charged for driving recklessly, you may be charged for overspeeding. So the law makes it mandatory that every motorist, every pedestrian must observe road traffic regulation. Another topic, which is the topic number 11, another road traffic offense we are considering is the offense of manslaughter. Manslaughter occurs when you drive recklessly and hit a person and the person died. You will be charged, a motorist may be charged for manslaughter when he hit any person and the person died in the process. Then the next topic we'll be taking will be driving a vehicle suspected to be stolen. If you are driving on the road, on the traffic, on the street, the law makes it mandatory that you don't drive a vehicle suspected to be stolen. This means that when you are driving a vehicle, you must be sure that you are driving a vehicle that belongs to you, or a vehicle that you know that the person who owns it is the actual owner of the vehicle. Then the number 13, the 13th road traffic offense we are considering now is driving or riding a motorcycle without a helmet. This offense is very, very common among Okada riders, the commercial motorcycle riders. They ride the motorcycle without a helmet, and this is a criminal offense. If the law enforcement agencies are to carry out their duty to the letter, then all Okada riders, the motorcycle commercial riders, will be guilty of these offenses. So the law makes it mandatory that if you are riding a motorcycle, a motorbike, you are expected to put on your helmet. And if you are taking a passenger, the passenger is also expected to put on a helmet. This law is meant to protect your life and to protect the life of others. So then the other road traffic offense we'll be talking about has to do with the pedestrian. That is crossing the road when vehicles are passing. This is also a criminal offense. When vehicles are passing, when the traffic light is showing green, a pedestrian is not expected a pedestrian is not expected to cross the road. For this reason, as a pedestrian, when you are crossing the road, you are expected to watch the traffic light. If it is showing green light, you are not expected to cross, because at that time, vehicles are passing. Vehicles are passing. You are not expected to cross road when the vehicles are passing. So, but when the light is showing red, then it signifies that you can cross, but the vehicle can stop. So these are some of the road traffic offenses that we commit while on the road from time to time. Now the next topic we want to take has to do with safety tips for pedestrians. Safety tips for pedestrians. The first instruction we are going to look at is that as a pedestrian, you are not expected to walk by the side of the road, because normally a normal standard road or highway, there must always be a footpath or pavement where the pedestrian is expected to pass. But where there are no footpath, where there are no pavement, then you must always walk by the left side of the road, facing oncoming traffic. Then the second step is that where footpaths are not provided, always walk on the left side of the road. Then the third one is before crossing the road, stop, look left, look right, and look left again. Make sure that no vehicle is passing before you cross the path. And when it is at night, you must always cross the road near the lighted areas. The reason being that when you are crossing the road near lighted areas, oncoming vehicles will quickly see you and drive with caution. So that is all for the topic, safety tips for pedestrians. And the last topic we are going to take has to do with the law enforcement agencies that are in charge of road traffic matters. These law enforcement agencies are: number one, we have the Motor Licensing Authority. 2, we have the Nigeria Police. 3, we have the Vehicle Inspection Officer. 4, we have the Federal Road Safety Commission. 5, we have the Road Traffic Officers. 6, we have the Road Traffic Wardens. Then, and in Lagos State, we have the agency called the LASTMA, that is the Lagos State Traffic Management Agency. All these agencies are in charge of road traffic matters. So when any matter that has to do with road traffic occurs, you can report to them. You can lodge your report to them, and you can also obtain the necessary papers from them. At this juncture, I will want to round off this series, and will also implore you to send in all your questions. We have rounded off now, and we are expecting your questions. At the end of the day, we will be answering all your questions. Thank you very much for listening.